Hey guys, just getting set up here. Super excited. Ignore my family in the background. They're headed out to the pool. So let me make sure I'm looking the right way. Perfect. I've got comments up on my computer, so do comment if you have any questions or suggestions. I'm trying to decide which word to do, so I have a few ideas, but if you've got ideas, leave them in the comments. Basically what I'm going to show you today is how to kind of compile your words. So a lot of the things that people have reached out to me about wanting to learn about hand lettering is the like actually putting letters together and making it look cohesive and having a word that actually looks good to look at as a whole. So it's not so much not knowing how to do the letters or knowing how to do the pressure, the different strokes, but it's actually putting together words or quotes. So if you have any ideas, hi Marie, hi Claire, hey guys, I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm nervous for this one. You can't even see my face, and that's kind of the bonus of this one is I don't have to put makeup on. But I'll be watching your comments, let's see, on the Facebook page. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing, it'd be awesome. I'm looking on my laptop here to see if I can share it myself. So yeah, if you guys have ideas of what you want me to write, do leave them in the comments, and I'll just wait a few minutes to till everyone hops on. And if everyone can hear me, let me know. I can talk a little louder if you want me to. And like yell at the phone. Since it's above me, it's not like right next to me, so I feel like it's not picking up as much sound. Alright, I'm sharing in the Wake to Make tribe. If you're not in the Wake to Make tribe, join there. We do a lot of fun stuff. I have experts in there every week coming in, giving us content and awesome feedback and all kinds of advice. So this week is Dana Malstop. I love her. Last week was Stacy Tushel. Also love her. Had a bunch of experts in, so that's tons of fun. So you can join that. Katie, if you wouldn't mind putting the link to the group in the comments, that'd be awesome. Katie is my new designer. I'm super excited to have her. She is an expert in illustration, and she also does video editing and all kinds of stuff. So she's awesome, and she's a new team member for us, so that's really exciting. So yes, if you guys have word ideas, I thought I would start with the word Barcelona because I love that song. It's like my jam right now, and it's a fun word. And longer words are funner. I feel like funner is a word. Shorter words like you and can be super boring. So I figured I'd do a long word. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. So you guys can check out. Oh, that's the Facebook page. So do the group. So the Wake to Make tribe, Katie. If you guys search Wake to Make tribe on Facebook, you'll find it there too. So basically, if you guys can, I don't know if you guys can read this paper, but this is a part of the downloadable booklet that you get with the course, with the For the Love of Lettering course. And it's also, you can either download it with the course or you can buy it separately in my shop, and I'll actually have it printed and sent to you. So you can practice that way. But basically, this is kind of just a breakdown of how lettering is structured, and like it says, you have to learn the rules before you can break them. And with hand lettering and brush lettering, you can break a lot of the rules, so that's what's so fun about the art. But this kind of shows you the basics of how you want to build your words and structure your words. So as you're starting out, you can actually start with these lines to give you kind of an idea of how you want to structure your words, and I'll show you how you can change them up. So the top line, we're just going to start with the top line. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as light as you can do it. And then the waistline, the writing line, make these a little longer, and the descender line. And these can be in any space between that you want, and they can also not be straight. So I'll show you the difference between doing different writing lines, spacing them out a little differently. There's no shame in starting out with a pencil when you're starting out with hand lettering. You can build a wireframe or a thumbnail, whatever you want to call it. So you can kind of get an idea of what you want to do, get your spacing down, get your kerning right before you actually ink. So, you don't waste paper that way. And you can actually, make really specific, lines and different elements to your lettering. The word awesomeness. I like that, Maria. I can do that. That's a great word. Like I said, long words are more fun, so that's a very long word. I don't know if that's technically a word, but I like it, so we're going to do it. So, let's see, can you guys see this? So you can see it a little bit. You can see how, let's see. So the center line is basically like the top of where your letters are going to go. So you don't want anything past that. The waistline is the top of your lowercase letters. So anything that's, you know, not an uppercase letter, basically, you want it to at least touch that or come in contact with that. The writing line is the bottom of any of your letters except for the ones that have descenders on them. So the descenders are any letter that you know falls below your writing line. So in this case, Y and B does, T does, even like F and lowercase letters can fall under that line too. So basic structure. So when we do awesomeness, I'm going to start on the writing line, and then I'm going to bring this A down to the descender line because that's fun and I like it that way. Like I said, you can break the rules, guys. Perfect. Thanks, Katie. Yeah, you guys can join the Wake to Make tribe. We do all kinds of fun expert takeovers and prompts and stuff like that. So enjoy that if you're not in there yet. I do have to approve you, so you can jump in there. And this is just a basic outline. So your lettering may not follow this, but it's a good way to like measure where you want your words and how you want to space them out. So Maria suggested awesomeness, which I'm really super enjoying right now because it's a great word. So for example, down here, when you're on your, you know, wavy line, obviously everything is kind of fit within that, the writing line and the waistline. But when you kind of change up your waistline and see there's even like different spacing here, we're gonna get a totally different word style. So we'll do the same thing, start the A at the writing line. I hope you guys can see this. It's not too light. I might need to draw darker. Oh, you can see it, okay. All right, and then across the A, and then you wanna make sure your letters stay within these lines, and you'll start to see how you can do all kinds of fun stuff. And you see how you end up with a totally different word. Now I'm going to try a word. I need a word that has, I need to grab a good eraser. Hold on a second. You guys give me a word that has lots of ascenders and descenders. So F's, H's, T's, Y's, anything like that that has right here you'll see, anything that goes above the waistline. So a long word that has lots of ascenders and descenders. I'm grabbing a good eraser. Hold on. Erasers are like bobby pins. Like you like find them when you need them or when you don't need them, and then all of a sudden you need them and you can't find any. So I'll just use this one and we'll have a little bit of pink. So we get for having live videos, guys. So let's see, anyone come up with words? Flush with Theophilus. I don't know if that was Zach or Catherine. That is true. My son's name has a lot of those. I feel like that was Zach. Like modern day Bob Ross. Marie, that's probably the best compliment I've ever received, so thank you for that. That was super sweet. All right. Sorry about the pink smudges, guys. Do have decent erasers. I swear I have like 6 of them. They just decide to disappear when I need them, especially on a live video. Does everyone have coffee? I have coffee. And even though it's snowing outside today, I'm still drinking it iced. Even my coffee girl knows that I drink it iced even in the cold, and she makes fun of me. Because I like it. But it's like literally we got like another foot of snow last night. It's like record-breaking snow for Cody. That was that commenting, okay. He's supposed to be at the pool with the kids. Let's see, I'm gonna do Barcelona because I like that word and I like that song. It's great. Oh, he just left the house. That's why he's still sitting in the yard. Okay, so Barcelona. So we're gonna start the B, and that's gonna take up pretty much the whole ascender area since it's an uppercase letter. And we're gonna fill, and the R can be an ascender. I know R's are kind of tricky. That's one of my least favorite letters. So, I mean, it's totally up to you if you want that to go above the ascender line or above the waistline or not. And like I said, you don't have to follow specific guidelines. You know, I want to bump. This is why we use pencil, guys, because you can always change it up as you go before you even letter. I'm going to do a higher ascender line because I want to do really big ascenders up here. I really like the giant loops. O can also be that way, where it jumps above the waistline. And then always do a frilly loop at the edge because that's what, those are called flourishes or filigree. In like modern calligraphy and things like that, there's actually like a technique for how you can accomplish those, and I go through that in the course as well. But it also can mean underlines or, you know, swashes or different paint strokes or anything like that. All right, so now that we have, do we like that? Let's see. So you can see it. It's actually really nice to have the video right here because I can see how it looks from afar. So you can go back and fix things. And as you get better and better at your lettering, you'll have, you know, you may not want to use a pencil first. You can just freehand it. But as you're starting out, you're a newbie, you want to, there's no shame in penciling first. I even do it sometimes. If I want to achieve a certain look and I'm having trouble, instead of going through 15 different pieces of paper, I will, you know, just use a pencil first, and that helps. So I just use a number 2 pencil. You can get a thinner pencil if you have trouble drawing lightly. I just have a lot of practice drawing lightly. But if you want something that's lighter and not so easy to get, like, you know, the thick pencil lines on, you can do a hard or an HB pencil. And then also pink pearl eraser I recommend, which I, again, can't find. But this brush pen I discovered on Amazon, and it is one of my favorites, and I love it. It's got a great fine tip. I don't know if you guys can see in the video. It's all in what I think is Japanese, but if you search Pentel Brush Pen on Amazon, it'll come up. And there's a couple different brush tips. I really like the finer point tip because you can get a lot smaller. But it has the ink inside the pen, which is great, so you don't have to have, you know, the separate ink in the brush and keep those together. It's just all in there, so I can carry this in my purse, take it with me wherever I go. So that's super, super convenient. And you can also squeeze. So you can squeeze and get like a thicker line if you want, or you can get like a thin, you know, textured brush stroke like that. So it's totally up to you guys how you want to use the pen, which is really cool. It makes it super versatile tool. So you can get super thick or super thin. Again, when you're starting out lettering, I always recommend kind of doing a few breaths. I actually, in the course, have a daily meditation you can walk through where you know, can just kind of calm yourself down, get yourself in the mood, help your mind to stay calm, because it is really a hand-eye coordination thing. And so practicing that is super helpful for me. And it's a great thing to practice as you're lettering, to just kind of get in the mood and get your mind like connected. You can also do some practice strokes, which also helps. Just kind of get used to how your brush feels on the paper again, because it is a muscle memory. So if you know, it's been a few days or it's been a few weeks, you want to make sure that before you hand letter on the piece that you're working on, that you're, you know, that you're used to it and it's going to come out like you want it to. So any questions in the meantime, you guys feel free to ask. I'm looking over here on Facebook. All right. So the general rule in calligraphy or brush lettering is more pressure down, less pressure up. So you're gonna add more stroke or more pressure on your downstroke, and then less pressure on your upstroke. And you can rotate your hand if it's a little easier as you kind of roll over. So down and then up. Especially with a brush, this brush tip is a little bit long, and so it takes a little bit of practice learning how to accomplish the strokes you want to accomplish. So I'm just going to trace over my pencil, and it's just a guideline. I don't have to follow it if I don't want to. And I want to decide how thick I'm going to make these strokes. So you can always go back and add. I don't know if I like that line there or not. So it can be slow if you see how I'm just slowly filling in the spots that I want to fill in. Like I said, I'm not on the guideline exactly, but that's okay. I have a whole lesson in the course on kerning, so your spacing between your lettering, basically. If you space them too close or they're uneven, it can be really distracting to your viewer. And so there's a whole lesson on walking you through, you know, the importance of that and how to accomplish it well and how to, you know, implement that into your hand lettering. And then throughout the course, you know, we learn all the techniques of how to do it with your hand, and then we actually learn how to digitize it and get it online and into your branding, which is so much fun because, I mean, how many of you, give me some hearts or likes if you, or maybe some angry faces, I don't know, it depends on how it makes you feel. If you know more than 5 or 6 brands currently who are using the same font or the same style of font and you get them mixed up and there's no like originality there, this is a huge thing that you can bring to your branding, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand, that you can bring to your social media and how you know, present yourself online. That's totally unique and no one else can copy your hand lettering exactly. There's also a bonus module, which I'm super excited about. Christina. She's always riding trains. England sounds like fun. There's so many trains there. What was I saying? It's going somewhere. Oh, there's also a module on taking your letters that you create and putting that into a font. And it's so much fun, guys. It's so easy too once you learn kind of the techniques. And you know, you have the right programs, you can like an hour, you can get your own font. And so you can letter and have a totally unique, you know, hand lettering, and then you can implement that into the computer and put that in your branding as a font so you can actually type with it. And you can get it into apps like Over and Canva and that type of thing. So that's super exciting. Anyone else have any other words? I see a ton of Genesue. Yes, Genesue is super popular. Playlist script is like all over everything right now. It's driving me crazy. And there's a couple different versions of it. There's like a brush, you know, one that has like more of a texture where it's like, you know, it's got the white spots in it. And then there's one that's more, let me squeeze some ink out here. There's one that's more like solid. And it just drives me crazy because there's so much to be said about having like that individuality within your fonts. And so when everyone has the same one, it just feels like no one's trying. So I always try and help my clients like understand the importance of why you should be, you know, individual in your branding, but why also you should have your own custom parts, whether it be a font or pictures or, you know, copy or whatever. Like, you don't want to be generic. Like, who wants to be generic? That's like the opposite of good branding is, you know, being generic. So that is important as well. I'm going to letter awesomeness as soon as this dries. Because the worst thing, guys, the worst thing is you do your lettering and then you smear it with your hand. I'm sure lefties can understand. Lefties have a hard time hand lettering because of the ink not drying fast enough and smearing. I have a few friends who are like, you gotta show me how to do it left-handed, which honestly I know nothing about because I'm right-handed. So I know there is. I just found someone on Instagram, or maybe in the Boss Mom group. She said something about her like hand lettering is lefty lane or something like that. It looked super cute, and she helps left-handed hand letterers, so that was cool. I was like, hey, we need to talk because I've got people for you. So you can do it as loose or as, you know, clean as you want it to. So I'm gonna do this one a little looser because I prefer it that way. It gets kind of that like rough grunge feeling, which doesn't work for every brand, obviously, but it's super fun to play with. Sorry if I'm bumping the light or the camera. What's the consensus? Is awesomeness actually a word? Because I feel like it should be a word. Any other words, guys? Oh, I said I'm lefty. I didn't know you were lefty, Christina. Yeah, so basically what they suggest for lefties is to, when they start hand lettering, they, I think they angle it this way so that they actually come over it from the top. And so then they, I think that's what they say, yeah. And so obviously it's going to be terrible, guys, because I'm not left-handed, but hey. So basically they tell you to angle the paper so that you're pressing down like that way with your strokes and then up with your strokes like that. guys, left-handed lettering, man. Kudos to those of you who do it, because it's awesome, and I do it, obviously. But yeah, they also say, what was it? They say angle the paper and come from above, and then you can also use a hand guard. So if you just lay a napkin or another piece of paper over your lettering, then you can glide and not screw up what you've already done. There's one other thing, but I don't remember. There's actually a pretty good article. I'll pin it here after. Yeah, the struggle is real. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I've probably had like 6 or 7 different people ask me, like, do you have anything for lefties? Because it's really hard to hand letter as a lefty. But yeah, I will put the link to Lefty Lane, and I will also put the link to that article I found on what you can do as a lefty hand letterer. I'll put that here. So how many of you are interested in incorporating hand lettering, your custom hand lettering fonts into your brand? I'm curious. Because I've had a lot of people ask me, like, how do I do that? What is it for? So tell me if you're interested. Give me a emoji hand up or something. Stevie says, I would say awesomeness is totally a word. I used it referring to you the other day. Your awesomeness knows no bounds. I try. I told a friend who's kind of like a spiritual and emotional accountability partner yesterday, I was like, I need to say no to things. I need to start saying no, because I do all the things and I am getting kind of burned out. Christina says, when I'm painting, I just have to learn to lift up my palm, put more pressure through my fingers. Yeah, that was the other thing, is you actually hold the brush like farther out. Oh, left hand. Farther out, and you can, do it without resting your wrist on the paper, which I find honestly exhausting. Sounds exhausting. You've seen your font used elsewhere and love it to be more unique. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's only so many fonts in the world. And so, you can hire a designer to create it, which I've done for clients before, and that's tons of fun. Especially, I've done it for clients and they have their own handwriting. And then it's like their exclusive font, and that is probably one of my favorite projects I've ever done. But yeah, you want to be unique. You want to stand out. You want people to see your hand lettering and immediately connect it with you, and immediately connect it with what your brand is and what you're trying to put out into the world. I know I found someone who had my font, and I was like, oh man, I gotta change. And it was a sans serif font, which is like a font like this font right here. And it was Railway, and I was like, oh man, everyone's using Railway. So we changed to Futura. I don't know how you say it. And that's been great, because there's not very many people with that. And so yeah, there are even ways, and I know WordPress is easier, I've even incorporated the custom fonts I made for clients into their websites. And so, it works on some web platforms. And it only works, her font doesn't show up on mobile sites because of, the web font thing. But you can use it all over, and you can put it in your graphics on your website. You can use it on your Instagram. On the podcast yesterday, the podcast that came out today, we were talking about how you can use your fonts in, quote cards, that it not only does it show that you personally can hand letter, you can, you put that vibe out into the world through your hand lettering, but you also drop knowledge bombs via quote cards. You can't afford the class right now, but it is something you intend on offering for a while. I don't know, Stevie. I'm not sure if I'm gonna close it and have an open close or just make it evergreen. I'm still deciding. But yeah, the price right now is $157, and it goes up on launch day, which is it'll go up to $197. But I've thought about, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure that out, if I want to make it evergreen or close it. If I do close it, I will probably relaunch it later. So it's a great question. Thank you. All right, I'm going to do one more word. Any other ideas for words? I was thinking, since it's, I heard this fun quote the other day. So I'm going to start with pencil, because I can show you. This is kind of a fuller quote, which is fun. Making sure you guys can see this. Yeah, okay. Someone posted, is today one, or are you one day, or is it day one, kind of thing. So I thought that was an interesting, just way to think about your, what you want to accomplish in life, how you wait to make what you want to get done today. Is it one day, or is it day one? Are you starting today? So what I'm doing is I'm just building out my guidelines, and eventually you won't need to do this, but I'm just doing this to show you how I accomplish it. So the top 4 obviously are here. So you can, if you need to put like, you know, the codes for which line is which, you have your waistline and, oh no, not waistline, that's the wrong one, writing line and waist. So as you, you know, get better and better, you won't need these obviously, but this is mostly just to show you. So I like O's and I like to make them giant, so it's actually breaking the rules by going above the line, but that's okay. Like I said, they're guidelines. Is that from a movie, guys? More like guidelines. I think that's from Pirates of the Caribbean. One day, or no, one day or one day. No. See, part of it's funny. Sometimes I'll be hand lettering and I'll totally spell something wrong and not even realize it, because like it's not writing, it's art. Like it's totally different. Your mind is totally in a different spot. So I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant to say. I didn't mean to spell that thing wrong. I feel like there was a really funny one and now I'm not gonna be able to think of it. One day or day one. Wish I could remember who posted this because I would credit them. I'm gonna make O a little bigger. So the cool thing too about brush lettering is you can do cursive or you can do like block letters. And it's totally up to you. You don't have to be super fancy. I vote for evergreen. Yeah, Stevie, I'll probably do that. I don't know. I've been trying to think of ways to like make it more, I don't know, appealing to people. And someone told me that I should close it so that there's like, you know, the like people get on it right away. But I feel like that's kind of like salesy too. All my other courses are evergreen, and that's worked out for me so far, so I think I'll be keeping it evergreen. I do like that term too. I think it sounds earthy and totally explains what you're trying to do. So I brought that way down past where it was because I like big loopy things. You'll also see like people that add extra swashes and extra flourishes, which I think is totally fun. And the cool thing about knowing how to digitize your lettering is if you write it out and it's not exactly what you want it to be, you can totally edit it. And that's saved me more than once with clients and with different projects I'm working on. Because you can always go back and edit things. So even like this line here, for example, it's a little rough and it's not how I'd like it to be. And so I would just go in and post-production and edit that. Obviously, as with like photographers, you don't want to spend your whole life photoshopping stuff, so you get better at your craft, but it is nice to have that option. How many of you have tried hand lettering before and feel like you got a pretty good handle on it, or like you need some more practice? Because honestly, guys, there's a bit of instruction up front, but once you know the instruction and can, you have the supplies and you can start with it, then it's really just practice. At the Boss Mom retreat, everyone was like, how do I get better at this? What do I need to do? I was like, well, it just takes time. Like, it's a muscle memory, just like working out, just like writing, just like any sort of thing that you do over time to get better and better at. Hand lettering is the same way. And so don't feel like if you start today and you're like, I can't hand letter, I'm not an artist, I'm not artsy, blah blah blah, I've heard it all before. You just need to practice, and you need a little bit of instruction, which is what my course offers. There's a little bit, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of coursework in the for the level of lettering course, and it's super fun and really quick, and it'll give you that instruction that you need, and then the download practice booklet will give you the practice letters you need. I'll grab those real quick so you guys can see. So here's a sample of the practice booklet. So it actually comes like that, so it's a little bit lighter, and you guys can trace over things. So you can practice your downstrokes, you can practice your, descenders, your ascenders, all those things, and then, you know, eventually you'll fill them out, and you'll get better and better the more you practice that. And that is all downloadable, or you can buy the print version of the book in my shop. And then each letter has an upper or a lowercase page and an uppercase page, so you can go in and practice each letter. And so the booklet's like, I think 60 or 80 pages long, something like that. And that, again, you can download. So you can like download, you know, if you have trouble with your G's or you have trouble with your Z's, which are like my least favorite letters, you can download that page and print it out a couple times so that you can continue to practice. So if you guys have any questions, you're doing your company name as you speak. Yes, Stevie, that's actually a really, really fun way too to implement lettering, is you can use it as your logo. If you can create a, you know, letter form that you really like, then you digitize it, that's a logo right there. And so, you know, half the time if I'm lettering for a client that wants the hand lettering feel, that's where I start. I start with stuff like this. I'm like, okay, let's brainstorm, you know, how we want the words to be laid out, what we want different things to, you know, say, where we want things to point, all that stuff. And then I, you know, just like I show in the course, I digitize it, I get it online, and I, you know, create it as a vector, which is a resizable image. It's different than pixels. It's kind of like the opposite of pixels, if you will. And that is what a logo is. And then you can export that as a bunch of different files. So if you, you know, don't want to hire a designer, but you do want to practice hand lettering, it's a great way to get started and get a really pretty logo that you like. All right, we've got some questions here. I paint signs, but currently make my own stencils using different fonts. I'd love to be able to do hand lettering on my signs. Oh, that's awesome, Stacy. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that type of implementation. Someone keeps, I have a friend who keeps emailing me, and she's like, you gotta reach out to these type of people and these type of people. And, you know, I connected with a lady who creates Cricut, like templates, and she was like, this can totally be used. So I wonder if do you use Cricut, Stacy? Is that the tool to cut out your signs? I think that's awesome. I have a friend who does that too, and sells them like locally. It's tons of fun. Yeah, Stacey, if you want to start incorporating your hand lettering into your signs, I think this would be a great place to start. Tell me in the comments, what format do you need your fonts in? I'm assuming that the Cricut, gosh, it's been so long since I've used a Cricut, but they use like different cartridges and stuff, but you can create your own. So tell me how that works, and I'll let you know if I use a Silhouette, which is similar. Okay, will you private message me, Stacey, because I'd love to hear more about how that process works, and then I'll see if it's a good fit for you. Christina, I came in late, but do you recommend a paper thickness for printing off the download? Yes, so cardstock works. Uncoated cardstock is preferred, because if it's shiny or slippery, it might smear and not like soak in the paper as well. So a matte cardstock, at least 100 pounds. The pad I use, let me grab it. The pad I use, which obviously isn't the practice pad. Yes, a vector, Stacy. That's what I'll show you how to create. So you can then upload that into your Cricut or whatever machine you use to cut out your stencils. This is 98 pounds, and this does great. This doesn't bleed through hardly at all. So this paper is great. If you can get, I don't know if you can get like heavy duty printer paper for every printer. You might have to check that out depending on your printer, Christina. Yeah, and you can export as SVG or vector, Stacy. And so yeah, that would be super helpful. If you work in Illustrator at all, it's like literally a couple buttons to get them vectored. And then there's also an app by Adobe that is super easy to use. So I cover all of that in the course. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have. So, you know, either comment below or DM me or PM me or whatever the kids are calling it these days. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm going to do another one of these, I think Friday, Thursday or Friday. So do share this if you enjoyed it, and if you know anyone who's interested in the course, we also have a Thunderclap going. And Thunderclap is basically a social sharing tool, and it will, basically you like submit your social media, and then on February 14th, I think at 8 a.m. our time, every social media that signed up, every person that signed up, it will send out a notification that, or it'll send out a post that's like, hey, check out this lettering course. So we get enough people in there, and that will go out, and that will just help our reach even more on launch day. So if you guys are interested, do sign up for that. I'll add the link for that as well. And the course, if you're interested in purchasing the course right now, it's pre-sale. It's available for pre-sale for $157, and it'll go up to $197 on the 14th. So you guys hop in there. I'd be happy to see you. I'll be providing feedback. If you use the hashtag for the love of lettering, I'll be hopping on there once we're launched and giving you feedback and seeing your progress. And it's been so fun. I have a beta test group right now, and they've already been posting. So tons of fun, super easy. Even if you're not artsy, it is a fun thing to do. So I'm excited for you guys, and I am here if you have any questions. So do reach out. Yay, Stacy, I'm looking forward to your message. If you guys have anything else, or if you want a word done next time, do leave a comment here, and then I will. Yay, thanks, Stacy. Yours is the first course I've seen that I thought I might be able to, yay! That's good, guys. It's so attainable, guys. It's so easy. It's not this, like, mystical thing that you'll never be able to do. If you know how to write your name, you probably can hand letter. That was a phone call. Sorry, guys. I will leave links for everything that I talked about, and I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for joining me. This was so much fun. Like, most successful live ever, so you guys are awesome.
Hey there, I just wanted to take one more opportunity to thank you so very much personally for allowing me into your space, into your home, and giving me your time. I wish so bad that we could just be sitting down together with a cup of coffee and enjoying life together, whether it be with makeup or crafting or kids or whatever crazy stuff is going on. I hope though that this video will do for now and encourages you. I hope that it inspires you to go ahead and be a little bit more brave, be a little bit more bold, and be a little bit more beautiful, both inside and out, because you are. If this did, please go ahead and connect with me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me your comments, and if you would, subscribe so that you don't miss any future Above Ruby Studio videos. As always, you can come over and join the fun at AboveRubyStudio.com, where you can connect a little bit deeper, check out past videos, and even do a little bit of shopping with us. Enjoy the moments.